Welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm Topher. And for those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on my video, welcome to the channel. I'm Topher. Thank you for stopping by. So we're here to do a reaction. We're diving back into the Untamed. We're diving into episode 41. We've made it into the 40s. We are almost done with this journey. Sad face. If you're watching this on YouTube, by the time this gets to YouTube, we will have been long since done with this journey. So if you are impatient and you want to see how the rest of this journey went down, join us over on Patreon for early access. Because at this point of recording, I think on YouTube, I just released episode 35 or 36. So we're like 4 or 5 episodes ahead right now. So that's 4 or 5 weeks from now that this episode will be done. So this episode will be on YouTube. So yeah, the series will have been finished by the time this makes it to YouTube. So join us over there, over on Patreon, if you'd like early access to this. Otherwise, it'll get to YouTube in its scheduled time. But we're gonna dive in and see where this episode takes us. As we recall, towards the end of episode 40, we found out that all of my mistrust that I've had towards Meng Yao is warranted, because he may be just the ultimate devil mastermind in disguise. Not really in disguise, because I've been suspecting him this whole time, but yes, he's not a very, very nice man, and I've been calling it for like 20 plus episodes. So we're gonna dive in and see where this episode takes us. That is an awful place to end the episode. We were just getting started. And I'm sorry if I seem a little distracted throughout. Like, there is a mosquito that is in the room and it keeps flying within my line of sight. And I'm trying to not like distract too much from what I'm watching and whatnot. But every once in a while, like, it hovers right around the microphone. And I'm trying to just like grab at it without, and it's irritating me. And I just want to, I'll get it eventually. But if you hear me just randomly clapping at things, it's because it's nearby. But yes, that's a terrible place. The episode was just getting started. What do you mean it's over now? Lord, I was only gonna watch the one episode, but I guess I gotta dive into episode. Nope. Guess I gotta dive into episode 42 now. Yes. What a fun little time we just had there. So this show is really, really good about giving me information that I need when I need it. Because, like, yes, throughout the series, I've asked... Nope. Frustrating. But throughout the series, I've asked a number of questions, and I've hypothesized this, that, and the other. And I've seen things. I've seen flashbacks. I've seen moments that we've had, blah, 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 blah. But, like, it's so good about giving me those moments early on, and then coming back and referencing them, sometimes from the exact same angle, sometimes from a completely different perspective, and just giving the scene that we're in currently so much more validity, so much more weight, just so much. It's just so good. It's so good. So like, here we had a lot of flashback of scenes we've already seen with Meng Yao, which again, I've said in each one of those scenes, I don't trust him. I don't trust him. Ever since this baby boy plunged that sword into that one guy way back when, I haven't trusted him since. There are a couple points throughout where like I kind of wavered on that. I'm like, okay, maybe he actually is trying. Maybe he's not bad. Maybe I'm just being difficult, blah, blah, blah. And then he would do something else. I'm like, see, I don't trust him. And now they're showing us all these moments, all these flashbacks we've already seen, but just with a slightly different perspective, with just a little bit more added detail. We're seeing just a little bit more of the scenes. And it's like, again, the seeds have been there the whole time. We've been planting these seeds along the way. And I won't even call this series a slow burn, because so much has happened. So much has happened throughout this series. It's just a long ass series, but so much has happened along the way. And like, we're just dropping all these little seeds, all these little breadcrumbs. And it's like, now everything is just starting to bloom. Our garden is starting to bloom, and we're getting all these details, and it's all, but it's like, it's not hitting me out of nowhere. The fact that Meng Yao is out here doing all this stuff, it's not coming out of left field like, oh my god, I can't believe him. He was so like early on. Like if we were talking about like the first like 4 or 5 episodes, I would have been like, no, not my Meng Yao. There must be some mistake. But like at this point, all those little hints have been there. And now that we're seeing all these flashbacks of things that have already happened in the past, and we're just adding on just these touch little more details, it's like, yeah, we've been planning this whole way through. We've been leading y'all down this path this whole way through. This isn't just coming out of left field like, surprise, we got this surprise villain. Like, no, we have been doing this whole damn time. And for some people may not have seen it. Some people may have just been like, okay, Meng Yao is sorry, he was just, undercover, blah 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 blah, and just moved on from it. But like I refuse to let it go. If you guys have been with me, I've just refused to let it go. So I'm like, no, I don't trust him. So this does not surprise me in any way, shape, or form. But for people who may have been more willing to let it go and just been like, okay, Meng Yao, he's still just a sweet boy. This moment, like him being revealed as this sort of like calculating villain, they might be like, oh my goodness. But then again, they're showing us all of these moments from the past that we've already seen, and they're just adding a little bit more perspective. And it's like, no, this isn't coming out of left field. We've been showing you this all the time. And now once you add up all these pieces together, it's like, oh shit, he has been out here just doing some shit, hasn't he? And it was, now that we know that Zhu was in on this and they were working together, some of those earlier moments when he was blaming the other guy of letting Zhu go and whatnot, and then the Scarlet Peak Master's like, did he actually let him go, or did you do this, blah blah blah, like putting all that into perspective with what we know now, it's like, Meng Yao has been playing the long waiting game, a very long waiting game. And do I think it was his intent right off the bat to go down this path? I don't think so. Like when they first started us in this episode, showing us a flashback of first time Meng Yao met Scarlet Peak Master. I don't know if it was the first time he met him, but that first little meeting they were showing us there. And Meng Yao was going to go join them for lunch, but then he didn't because the entire clan's been bad-mouthing him because he's an illegitimate child of the Jin clan, this, that, the other. And the Scarlet Peak Master was just standing there listening to all his, subordinates talking and this, that, the other, and just bashing Meng Yao. And he went in on them. He laid in on them and just gave them the lecture of a lifetime. It's like, Meng Yao's not going to be my second in command or my general or whatever he said. Do I think that the first time Meng Yao met him and he was like, oh, I'm just, eating my lunch by myself, do I think that all of that was planned? I don't think so. I don't think that far back Meng Yao had this grand plan that he was going to cause all this mayhem and mischief and scheme and this, that, the other. I think he was still very much trying to, won't necessarily say gain other people's approval, but trying to get people to stop looking down on him because of his parental situation. He didn't ask his mother to, they keep calling her prostitute. I don't know if she actually was, or if that's just the terminology they're using because she had an illegitimate child. But either way, it doesn't really matter. He didn't ask for his mother to have this child. He didn't ask to be an illegitimate child of the leader of this clan, who's apparently out here sleeping with God and everybody, just spreading his seed out to every which way the wind will blow. Like, he didn't ask to be one of these illegitimate children. It's not his fault he exists. It's not his fault that his family situation. He didn't ask for this. So I think the early part, he's still just trying to get people to see him for the work and the deeds that he's doing versus the fact that he is this illegitimate child. So when the Scarlet Peak Master came in there and started laying down the law, it's like, he's going to be my second command from now on. I think, yes, he may have seen that as an opportunity to potentially advance, but I don't know that becoming his second in command was part of his plan. I don't think he had a master plan yet. I think throughout that experience, plans started to form, but if that was part of his plan, then he's even more calculating than I thought. Um, but yeah, that, and then the other sort of part of the flashback that I found really, really interesting, there was him, then him talking to someone in the middle of the night. All we saw were feet moving back, and it could have been Zhuyang. Maybe he was already released at that point. It could have been, was that before or after the, no, that was before the whole Wen Rohan thing and whatnot. So that could have been, I don't think it was Wen Rohan, but it could have been someone from the Wen clan. Who knows? It could have been Ji Chen. It could have been any number of people. We don't know. All we know is he was talking to somebody. Somebody tipped their tippy toes back into the shadows when asshole came out. It's like, hey, who are you talking to? I saw you talking to someone. You son of a whore. You know, whatever he said. Like, he was talking to somebody. And like I was saying in that moment, I don't know. I don't think he was talking to Scarlet Peak Master, because it doesn't seem like that would line up. Like, why would that be a secret? Why would he, like, it doesn't, it feels like he's talking to someone he shouldn't be talking to. But at the same time, I'm like, right now we're exploring the memories inside of the Scarlet Peak Master's head. So how would he have seen that scene if he wasn't there already? So if Meng Yao wasn't talking to him, then that means he was somewhere to what, or it just might be a plot hole. Who knows? But in my head canon, his head, Scarlet Peak Master's head, his memories wouldn't have that scene we just saw there as part of his memories for Wuxia to see if he wasn't there to witness that scene. Like, someone could have told him this went down, but he wasn't there, so he wouldn't have had the memories as vivid, had that vivid replay that we already saw in the scene. So either it's a plot hole, or Scarlet Peak Master was somewhere in the vicinity watching all of that unfold, so he saw where Meng Yao was talking to someone, which I think, if it's not a plot hole, then it would have to be that second option, because again, if it were the fact that the Scarlet Peak Master was watching the scene and he saw whoever Meng Yao was talking to, they would have showed us that as part of the flashback as well, because he would have seen it, because we're in his head right now. So the fact that they didn't show us who Meng Yao was talking to tells me that the Scarlet Peak Master also did not see who Meng Yao was talking to, assuming that he saw this unfold again. But yeah, the other part that I found interesting that I was thinking of as far as the flashback was the whole zither playing, and like, yes, I'm going to learn this heart cleansing song from my big brother, and yes, oh, he's the best teacher in the world. And then when they're alone and he's playing this song by himself, I clearly heard that those chords were completely different. Ji Chen was playing this beautiful, just nice, calming, you know, we've heard it a dozen times over at this point, you know, just helping him meditate, blah, blah, blah. But Meng Yao, even if I wasn't looking at him and saw just the expression on his face, just full of just evil intent, just listening to the song being played, I'm like, this is a completely different song. These chords are completely different than what we were playing. We were playing at a different tempo, so I don't know what that song's intent was. Obviously it had some sort of malicious intent. I don't know if it was a song of like hypnosis, if we were just causing physical harm to his heart as opposed to cleansing it. I don't know if it was to bring out his evil side. I don't know if it was to like some sort of mind control, latent mind control that he can reenact later whenever he wants. Like, I don't know exactly the purpose of the song, but I know it wasn't for any heart cleansing. There was no benevolent intent behind this song. He had nothing but malicious intent behind the song. And when we again revisited that scene where the Scarlet Peak Master, he lost, and I keep calling him that because I can't remember what his actual name is. The thing with this series, I mentioned it earlier in earlier episodes, each character has so many names. I think they've got like their birth name, they've got the name their friends call them, they've got like their super secret code name or whatever that other subordinates call them. So they've got like at least 3 names. And in my brain, as soon as my brain latches onto one of them, that's it. Because like when I'm watching the series and someone else says one of the other names, I know who they're talking about. Like I can place the name to the face and the character. But like when I'm sitting here doing my analysis and this, that, and the other, that's why I keep calling Wuxian Wuxian. Every once in a while, I might switch over to Ying, and that's only been a very recent thing. But like in my head, I've spent because I'm terrible with names, so I spent so long just trying to commit this one name to my memory that if I try to use a different name for them, I'm gonna just like get lost. So the fact that I've been able to use Wei Ying a couple times accurately is a miracle, because I know the first couple times it came out of my mouth, I'm like, did I say someone else's name? Am I accidentally talking about something? Do I need to backtrack and apologize and say, no, not this person? Because, so I keep calling him Scarlet Peak Master because that is the name that has stuck in my head, and I don't want to try and commit another name to memory because there's too many names in this series already. So he's just gonna have to live and die as a Scarlet Peak Master. Sorry. But yeah, so we saw in that scene when he lost his mind, which again, the first time we saw that scene however many episodes ago, I'm like, if anyone else besides Meng Yao were here, I would just say, okay, he got possessed, he lost his mind, he got corrupted by evil, whatever. But the fact that they showed me Meng Yao as one of the people who was witness to this scenario, and the fact that I don't trust Meng Yao has something to do with it. And here we see Meng Yao has something to do with it. Again, I don't know the full extent of what the song was. All I know is in that moment, he was about to attack and his heart, something stopped him and he started clutching his heart. I don't know if that stopped him and his heart was a result of Meng Yao's song. Like his song had some sort of influence on him. Like if he went to attack Meng Yao, it would activate and he'd be paralyzed. Or if like he's just had these heart issues where like we're playing this heart cleansing song for a reason. He's got health issues going on, so we're playing the song for a reason. So I don't know if the fact that he's not been playing a heart cleansing song and his heart's not being cleansed, his heart's bad now. So if he was just having heart issues in that moment and that stopped him, or if it was a fact that the song had a particular influence on him and that's what stopped him. But either way, he was stopped in his tracks, and Meng Yao just adjusted his hat, flipped his hair, and he just slowly slunk up the stairs like, oh, it's time for me to play your heart cleansing song. And you may have not noticed, but the song that I am playing and the song that, Big Brother's playing are completely different. And they have this big old like music, like it was some big shock. And I'm like, I clocked that the first time he was playing. I'm like, that song was completely different. How the Scarlet Peak Master was sitting here listening to this song for months on end and not notice that it's completely different. I don't know. I guess he's not a music connoisseur. I guess he just doesn't have an ear for music. But the second I heard Meng Yao play, I'm like, that's a different fucking song. That's completely different. So this is not a shock to me. I am not shocked and in awe. Like, no, this is a completely different song. But then Scarlet Peak Master lost it. Well, I won't say that he lost it, as at that point he was starting to see hallucinations, and I don't know if that was the effect of the song to make him see hallucinations, or if it was a hypnosis thing, or if he was being infected by the yin iron, or if the yin iron infection came after, they kidnapped him, took him to the mirror world, because at that point, like he was bleeding from the eyes and he was swinging because he was seeing Meng Yao everywhere, but I didn't see the black veins in his neck. At least I don't remember seeing them in that scene. I didn't notice them until after they had him restrained in the mirror world, and Zhu Yang was out there floating around the half of the yin iron he had, and he's like, I can't control him. I only have half of the yin iron. But yeah. So much going on there. So that's all the confirmation we needed that Meng Yao is not a nice boy. He is not a nice boy. Still don't know if he is the ultimate big bad of the series, or if there's someone above him still pulling strings. Not 100% certain yet, but he is not a good guy. So yeah, the episode ended very rapidly. I was not expecting us that just kind of flew by. So now they're going to basically confront him, and his subordinates are like, I thought you guys had manners, this, that, and the other, but now you're just rolling up in here on, his bed chambers. And Wuxian's like, girl, you deserted the Lan clan, but then you still do everything that Lan Zhan's doing. He plays the zither, you play the zither, this, that, and the other. So who the hell are you to talk? Like, we're literally just in the middle of a conversation, and the episode ended. I'm like, that's a terrible place to end this. We're in the middle of a conversation. Like, I feel like the episode should have ended maybe like 10 lines before that. Like, with Meng Yao walking up like, oh, what's going on here? Like, that would have been a great place to just like, okay, blah, blah, blah. But like, Wuxian was literally in the middle of a conversation, and y'all just going, that's a terrible place to end the episode. So I'm gonna have to jump into the next one and see where the things go. So I had plans for other things today, but I guess I'm watching more of the Untamed. But I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on notifications to be notified when all my shenanigans get posted. If there's anything else you'd like me to react to, be sure to leave it down in the comments. I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, you're more than welcome to join us over on Patreon. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Love you.
Stranded here, stranded here, stranded. Stranded here, stranded here, stranded. There was a time we had it all. The darkness took over, and we started to fall. Hey, the feelings I had for you, they never left. And now I'm standing here, stranded. Lost with no vision of how we used to be. Standing here, stranded. Standing here, stranded. Ooh, yeah. I was drowning, suffocating. When you pulled me out for air, I was running through the fire in the mountains. Now I see, can't breathe without you. It's hard to see without you. Can't breathe without you. No, I can't live. No, I can't live without you. It's hard to see without you. Now we're together.